One date. That was all it took. A single evening, a nice meal, maybe a spark, or maybe just polite conversation. And for one woman in Phoenix, Arizona, it also took 159,000 text messages to fully express how she felt. Yes, 159,000. That is not a typo. If you sent a text every single minute without stopping, it would still take you more than 110 days to reach that number. But Jacqueline 80s did not just send good morning and how are you? She sent love notes, cosmic declarations, and even one or two casual threats to turn someone's internal organs into sushi. It started like many modern romances. Jacqueline met a man on a dating site. They went out once. He thought, that was nice. She thought, this is my soulmate. From that moment, his phone became her personal journal. At first, the messages were frequent, but still in the realm of what you might call enthusiastic. Then they began to pour in faster until they were a flood. Some were sweet, some were strange, and some sounded like they had been written by the villain in a psychological thriller. Among the texts, police say she wrote, "I would make sushi out of your kidneys and chopsticks out of your hand bones." Another said, "I would wear your fascia, the top of your skull, your hands and feet." When asked about them later, she insisted they were jokes. Although if your humor sounds like something from a horror film, you may need to rethink your comedic style. In July 2017, the man spotted her parked outside his home and called the police. Officers arrived and escorted her away. That might have been the end of the story, but for Jacqueline, it was only the beginning. The messages kept coming, now with even more intensity. She began appearing at his workplace, telling people she was his wife. She eventually trespassed into his home while he was out of the country. When police found her that time, she was taking a bath. She later explained that she had imagined living there and decided to pretend that is what was happening. In her car, police discovered a large butcher knife. She never used it, and she continued to insist she would never harm him. In her mind, this was love. She told officers the two were meant to be together forever. Here is the problem. What feels like love to one person can feel like fear to another. There is a fine line between affection and obsession, and technology makes it alarmingly easy to cross. Once upon a time, if you liked someone, you might write them a letter. Then you would wait days, sometimes weeks, for a reply. Now, you can send a message instantly. If they do not respond, you can send another, and another. If you are not careful, you may convince yourself that constant messaging equals connection. For most people, there comes a moment of self-awareness. You notice they are not answering. You feel a little embarrassed, and you stop. For someone in the grip of obsession, that moment never arrives. There is only the next text, and the next, and the next, until the total reaches numbers most people cannot imagine. The man tried to block her number. She simply found other numbers and accounts to contact him from. It was like a digital hydra. Block one, and two more would appear. This is where boundaries matter. Not only the ones you set with other people, but also the ones you set with yourself. If you find yourself checking your phone every 5 seconds, counting the minutes since someone replied, or planning your next just one more message, it is time to step back. Take a breath. Remind yourself that your life is more than a conversation thread. The internet loved this story because the numbers are so extreme. 159,000 texts after a single date sounds absurd. It is the kind of headline that makes you stop scrolling. Yet behind the absurdity is a clear lesson. Persistence without permission is not romance. It is pressure. In Jacqueline's case, the result was an arrest. She was charged with stalking and criminal trespassing and pleaded not guilty. Her trial was set for early February. Meanwhile, people on social media turned the case into a meme factory. Unlimited plan? She took that personally. Or, imagine being so bad at texting back that you get 159,000 messages. It is easy to laugh, but the story also shows how technology can magnify unhealthy patterns. Obsession is not new. In another era, it might have been letters, or uninvited visits, or endless phone calls. Today, it is notifications lighting up your pocket at all hours. The delivery has changed, but the impact is the same, and sometimes even more intense. If you have ever been on the receiving end of too many messages, you know the shift that happens. At first, it feels flattering. Then, it becomes overwhelming. Eventually, it feels like you are being monitored rather than admired. Real connection thrives on space. If someone is right for you, they will want to hear from you. You will not have to bury them in messages to keep their interest. And if they are not right for you, no number of texts will change their mind. In Jacqueline's case, the number was 159,000. That is enough to fill several books, enough to learn a language or earn a degree. But instead, it became a case file. One date, one man, one woman who believed love could be measured in message counts. In the history of romance, it is not Romeo and Juliet. It is more like notifications and jail time. So the takeaway is simple. Love is patient. Love is kind. And love does not require you to turn someone's kidneys into sushi. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more tales of love, obsession, and the thin line between connection and chaos. And tell us in the comments, what is the wildest thing someone has ever done after a first date? Just keep it under 159,000 characters.